The core of a woman's sola, aspects of a woman's soul, ultimately revolve around one thing: the heart, meaning that a woman's emotions are deeply tied to her inner feelings. They love with too much heart, think with too much heart, and act emotionally with too much heart. However, a woman's love is a selfless love, meaning that her devotion is not centered on herself, but rather on another, whether it be her husband, father, child, or even a friend. In contrast, many forms of love in men tend to be more self-centered, meaning that they prioritize their own enjoyment, benefits, and activities as the core of their affection. Women only feel joy when they see their loved ones happy, or when they desire to be loved and cherished. Likewise, they feel pain when they see those they love suffering, or when they themselves long for love but do not receive it. Their love is a completely selfless form of devotion. There is no clearer proof of this than the way a woman loves with a maternal heart. A mother's happiness or suffering does not reside within herself, but within her child. A child's joy brings a mother's heart to overflow with happiness, and she feels her child's joy more profoundly than her own. Likewise, a mother's suffering is greater when her child is in pain. Thus, the happiness or suffering of a child is never as deeply felt as a mother's joy or sorrow for them. Women yearn to live for others, willingly sacrificing themselves for others, and are filled with gratitude for the kindness they receive from those around them. However, they suffer deeply if others forget their contributions, if others do not show concern for their well-being, or if no one lives for them and is willing to make sacrifices for them in return. The flame within a woman, if there is no one to nurture it, if there is no one to sustain it, will extinguish immediately. Therefore, their love is a dependent love, reliant on those they love or wish to be loved by. Men, on the other hand, their love is a selfish love. They can live independently, enjoying happiness on their own, without caring about the joy or sorrow of those around them. They do not worry about others, nor do they expect to bring happiness or sadness to anyone, because they themselves do not truly understand gratitude, nor do they feel troubled if no one takes care of them. Desiring to live independently, they find ways to distance themselves from emotions. They can live without love or hatred, without joy or sorrow, without needing the praise or criticism of others. Their love does not depend on anyone. Their inner flame burns on its own without needing another hand to nurture it. Therefore, men can live in solitude, self-sufficient in their own existence, whereas women cannot live that way. Let's observe children living together in a family before any form of misguided education instills fear in them about what is right or wrong. A boy, if he wishes for something, will want a ball, a slingshot, or a wooden sword to demonstrate his strength to the world. Meanwhile, a girl might want a doll to cradle, care for, and nurture. When playing, girls enjoy role-playing, games being a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, or a mother. They like having dolls to cradle, guide, or command and be obeyed by. Seeing younger children study brings joy to girls, making them happy to teach and share joyfully. On the other hand, boys prefer play involving power struggles, often taking on the role of commanders who seek to dominate rather than assist. Helping with household chores brings them no joy, usually requires persuasion, coaxing, or even threats of punishment to make them participate. Those inherent traits remain intact even after birth. Men only care about things that benefit themselves for their own pleasure, whereas women constantly worry about others, think about how to please others, take care of others, and require others to notice them. No matter how selfish or stingy a woman may be, she only seeks joy for herself in a way that is still centered on the happiness of those around her. She needs others to love her, to live and die for her. Her emotions and desires are dependent on external factors. Her happiness is not something she can create on her own, but must come from others. Just like when women reach old age, even if their material conditions are sufficient and allow them to enjoy leisure, they still refuse to do so. Men, on the other hand, avoid situations that could keep them busy. Take our grandfathers. For example, did they ever insist on keeping their grandchildren around, wanting to be occupied, and worrying about them? Quite the opposite. They preferred to let their grandchildren run off and play, only occasionally indulging them when they felt like it. But for grandmothers, no one loves and cares for their grandchildren more than they do. In their later years, the time when they could finally relax is exactly when they become most attached and unwilling to let go. For women, the happiest time is when their concerns for family and society engage their minds and activities in an emotional and spiritual way. It is when their hearts are most touched when they think of their children, their parents, their teachers, and their dearest loved ones. A woman who lives without a husband, siblings, children, or grandchildren to cherish and care for, without anyone to share her joys and sorrows, without anyone needing her support and comfort, or without a mission to fulfill, such a woman may appear as compassionate as the Bodhisattva Guanyin. However, in reality, if someone lacks any true purpose in life and meaningful activities, that person will eventually become bitter, and their soul will be distorted. Nothing is more unbearable for a woman than emptiness. However, no cold solitude is more painful for a woman than a life devoid of emotions, love, and sorrow. The selfless love of a woman is essential for the survival of the human race. Without it, humanity could not exist.